Julieta opens up on what she's been doing to Sarah for the past few days, and it really upset Juan. Prospero tells her to think about it because he thinks that they should break up if they are not happy. Rosa tells her to keep pushing because she did all that because of love. Deborah goes to visit Dante in his hotel room. They have really missed each other, so they need to boil some rose cocoa. Anyway, they later discuss about how the deal is getting spoiled because Sarah is falling in love with Juan instead of getting some money off him to pay the debts. Dante remarks that if they fall in love then the deal will be off. Deborah is shocked. Things get messed up at the ranch. Pedro tries his best to switch it since everyone is taking him to be a villain, yet Cornelio is a wife-beater who wasn't able to control his wife, therefore she ran to his arms. Sarah and Juan are pissed off to hear that Cornelio is a wife-beater. In fact, Juan tells them that he can't allow a wife-beater to work in the ranch. Modesto tells Pedro to stay away from his family. As Pedro and Cornelio get separated, Pedro tells Cornelio not to lay a hand or mess up with Tadeo because he doesn't really know the sweet part of the whole story. Everyone is shocked. Cornelio asks what he means, but as soon as he tries to explain, Juan pulls Cornelio away. He swears to never forgive Pedro for what he did to him. Sarah remarks that Cornelio should have never laid his hand on a woman. Mateo tells her that the brothers will sort out their problems themselves, it's none of her business. Salvador has supper at Agustin's house and Agustin notices that Adela and Salvador could be interested in each other. Wow, can't wait for this. Beatrice arrives at the Del Monte's house. She's afraid that Cornelio might find her and now people will think that she's a Rosecoco donor. She asks for Sarah's help because Pedro wants to take her son away from her. She tells Sarah that she is so afraid and leaves. Modesto, Juan and Cornelio get to the canteen and Cornelio swears that Pedro has to pay. Modesto tells him that a servant shouldn't fight with the owner. Revenge is not good. Cornelio cries and says he'll divorce Beatrice and take Tadeo with him. He then orders beer to drink off his problems. He also asks the waiter to play Yatapita for him. Prospero is called by Deborah at night and he clarifies that he will transfer the money tomorrow. He surely wants to help her, but it must wait until tomorrow. Jessica overhears the last part of the conversation and asks Prospero who is he planning to help tomorrow. The four brothers do little to try to resolve the Pedro-Cornelio problem and end up arguing among themselves. Pedro tells them the truth that he and Beatrice were lovers. She could hardly resist his charms with a dork like Cornelio at home. Lucas is shocked. He says that he was his friend. Pedro corrects him saying that Cornelio was the son of a servant, he was never his friend. Mateo explodes and grabs Pedro by the lapels, reminding him that Modesto was like a father to them. Simone remembers the other day when Pedro mentioned being a father to a child. He guesses it was Beatrice's boy. Pedro says that Tadeo is a Del Monte, the first heir and his son. Jessica and Prospero are whispering in the dark, both in pajamas. She asks him why he wants to give money to that shameless woman and Prospero tells her that it's not the case. He doesn't care about that woman, he speaks to her only because she's Rosa's friend. The money is for a friend who needs help. Jessica warns him to stop or else she'll let it out and ruin their family and it will be his fault. Berta bursts in with a torch, but after realizing it's Prospero she goes back to sleep after throwing a suspicious look towards father and daughter. Cornelio, Modesto and Juan are still at the canteen. Cornelio is planning of fighting for Tadeo's custody because Tadeo is his only hope. Juan asks him to be honest and he accepts that he slapped Beatrice some times back. Juan tells him to relax, he is suffering from the consequences of his actions, though what Pedro and Beatrice did was wrong. Cornelio tells Juan to find another cowboy. He he quits. Beatrice is with Sarah. She is crying, explaining to her what happened and how she got herself in Pedro's arms. Sarah tells her that next time they will report Cornelio and Sarah will help her. Pedro walks in and pretends to be concerned about Beatrice, but anyway he offers to take her home, but Sarah tells him to relax, she will take her. At Adela's it's time to go to bed, but she's really worried because her dad is sick and she doesn't know what they'll do because the medical cost might be high. Brian suggests that they will have to take a loan from their bosses, but Adela doesn't want that. She's a responsible woman. Brian hugs her. Jessica and Alondra go to Julieta's room. They are here to sleep with their big sister because they are afraid of the lightning sounds because it's storming.